What's up, party people? Welcome back. We have had a bit of a switch. Sorry, we've just got a bit of a switch in casters. Myself and Algren will be subbing in for Gucci in playing against a beast team Esports. And Algren, you know a lot about both these teams. Give us some insight in what you expect to come out of the series.
Yeah, Savonix, I have played against the Beasts and I have seen the Yin as well in action. Yin Yang, it's a little confusing. But I think there's a lot of changes every week for Yin, so I don't really know what to expect from their side. And all I know about the Beasts is that like one thing stays very consistent is that they're playing for Mammon feet, it feels like a lot. So
Yeah.
I think that's gonna be interesting to see. I think it's the chef versus the feet. Let's
Yeah.
see what that brings on the Rift.
Chef versus Feet, indeed, and we'll see if a good Chi player can be cooking up some feet tonight. Because I think when it comes to AD carries, like the top of the league, you're an AD carry in the league yourself, and kind of putting yourself in that top bracket of AD carry players. These two are also in there with you. How hype is it to see these guys play against each other?
Very hype, very much. I think I'm very much interested to see what Mammon Feet's going to be doing because even in losses, he's managed to have very, very good stats. I don't know if he's kind of like a stats player, anyways. Maybe that he's kind of like playing selfishly. He doesn't want to ruin his KDA in those losses, but I think his CS per minute has also looked really fantastic. On the other side, I think last week was a bit of a maybe an easier match for Gucci Yin, but you saw Chef picking up the Twitch there, going aggressive and picking himself up a really nice KDA there as well. So in terms of the stats, they're definitely, I think they have to be at the top there. I think one of the games, though, I think Chef was kind of going more for the kills than he was going for the CS. So maybe he's hurting there, but I mean, his KDA's got to look better. So that's got to be looking nice.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. I'm excited to see this, and we can break more of the matchups down because there are some fantastic matchups to see. Guys, we have already done the draft as this isn't a live situation, but we will be able to head straight into game here, and we have started already now. Algren, you see the champions being selected on your screen already. What do you think so far?
It's a banger already. It's a Draven versus a Kaisa and a Tristana in the mid lane as well. A little bit of a boring Ivern maybe there. I think I would have liked to see some more aggression. You know, you got the axes in the bot lane, take some more weapons instead of the friend of the forest in the jungle. But probably makes sense. You know, you want to keep this Draven alive, make his stacks stay out there. So this looks like an exciting game here. I think there could be a lot of fighting here.
Yeah, exciting game. And one thing I've noticed about Beast Team Esports support is last time I remember casting here, he had LFT at the start of his name. That is now gone. So I assume that's now established. He's got himself into the team. The WAP has arrived, and last time around, he gave loads of people the weaponing. And this Beast Team Esports squad in this SLE split so far, I think they've definitely defied expectations there. They have performed a lot better than what people imagined them to. And so that's one side of the story. And then the other side of the story, Gucci Yin, 3-3, definitely on the performance and what people imagined them to do. So two sides of the coin here.
Yeah, I believe that's a very interesting point to bring up there. I think Gucci Yin they faltered a bit in week one, and I think they also dropped the game in week two to an opponent maybe that they shouldn't have lost to. But then, you know, there's a new week, there's a new opponent. Both of these teams, I think, are looking to break into the top of the bracket here. I believe that it's a 4-2 on the side of the Beasts, whereas it's a 3-3 on Gucci Yin. So I think both of them would be extremely happy with a 2-0 here, so they can actually prove themselves to become a contender here for potentially the top spot.
Yeah, top spot indeed. And talk to me about this bot lane initially as the AD carry expert we have on the desk here. Droven Rail into Kaiser Alistair. Take it away.
I believe I like it's the Alistair's kind of the counter pick. I don't know how draft went, but I think they just see the Rel, so they take the Alistair. So it's gonna be very hard for this Rel to find any engages, and maybe that is why this guy's already has the early push, and now it's gonna become even harder for the Draven to do anything really aggressive. So I believe this bot lane could just chill, but they have to be wary of these these Ivern ganks, because you see he's starting top sense going to run bot lane here. You want to get those skills and get those executes on Draven, but at the beginning there's no rush though. Like I think right now, even though that beasts have the push and they have priority, this Draven still wants to stack up his axes. This very early kill is not needed. It's nice, but it's not needed for the Draven. He wants to get some stacks in first.
Yeah.
As we're gonna see now, I think they're gonna be bouncing it back, and both junglers are gonna meet them there. So with the push going in advantage of the beast, this means that they are now getting bounced into their towers, so they should be safe. Whereas maybe there could be a gank opportunity in it for the side of Valiant on the Talia here.
Yeah, it could be a gank opportunity, but you can see the Scuttle Crabs will be spawning, and Obsidian Falinet, they will encounter each other in the jungle. Obsidian knows Falinet is there, but Falinet does not know where Obsidian is, so that's just going to be the Scuttle Crab secured. Obsidian is going to actually take the fight here. He's going to get jumped on by the WAP, and he's forced to flash away. The Q is going to land, so Shepard can get into range to auto-attack, but for now, Beast Team Esports with a tiny victory as they get themselves a Scuttle Crab and the flash out of the Ivern.
Yeah, really good movement here from the side of Beast, as Yin is maybe looking for some back, as we see mid lane acting.
Yeah, and with that momentum, getting that Crab, Valiant finds himself into mid lane, and another flash blown in the hands of Kim Jensen. So Valiant already affecting two members of Good Shiyin.
Yeah, Beast's off to a really good start here. No kills just yet, but they're really burning summoners, and you know that these re-ganks are now twice as dangerous. As we saw this tempo coming out from bot lane, securing that Crab, and then also just forcing out this Ivern, who was kind of questionably standing in the bush, hoping that they would just kind of walk past him maybe. You know, you are a tree, but you have a health bar, so it's kind of, you're not invisible. But anyways, he's gonna have to burn that flash. They couldn't really quite find anything back, and meanwhile you see that, you know, this push is coming back into the sky, so she's just gonna pick up DCS, and I believe that it's probably gonna be time for the Yin bot lane to get a reset here and look to get back on the map, because we have a dragon spawning.
Yeah, dragon spawning. And actually, I want to ask you a question, because I've been of the opinion that there are some champions in the SLE that when a player plays it, he plays it once and he doesn't get it again for the rest of the split. And I feel like with AD carry, Draven is that champion. There's not many SLE AD carries that can pull this one off. But when there's a Draven performance that is scary, that people look at and go, oh my god, that was an incredible performance. Why is it that, you know, people are so like hesitant to let that open ever again?
I don't know how everybody drafts, of course. I imagine it's mostly like, if you don't see that you need bans in other roles, you're just like, okay, what are the comfort picks you want to take away? I imagine most of the time it's going to be in that angle. But when it's Draven specifically, I mean, it's a very aggressive champion that is very strong in almost any bot lane. I think it's one of the strongest AD carries, I think, if you want to pick up yourself a winning bot lane. So I imagine that most people want to take it away, because if you want to answer it, you mostly have to gank it. And if you don't want to be forced to gank it, then I guess you just take it away. So I think it's just putting down that respect towards a player that shows mastery of a champion that is known to be very strong. You see this in solo queue. And if you're not playing like pros, because we don't see this in pro as often, then, you know, just take it away and give yourself an easier time in dealing in this bot lane.
Yeah, fantastic insight. That's why I love having an AD carry caster. It's really interesting to get the information here, as Valiant and Danny 8x8 will try to push through the mid wave together. Obsidian sees that and arrives as well to make sure that Kim Jensen keeps his good wave state up. And speaking of good wave states, with the information that Talia is walking to topside, Good Shiyin will start up the first dragon of the game, and by the looks of it, there's not much contest as Valiant has entered the topside jungle. You can see the WAP trying to hang around, trying to see if there's anything he can do, but it will just be the dragon secured for Good Shiyin. So 7 minutes into the game, and the objective is already done.
Yeah, I think this is really good movement here. As I highlighted, the base timer from Yin was faster than it was from the Beast, so they make themselves down there to get Mid River Prio, as we see a bot lane fight starting right now.
Yeah, bot lane fight as Obsidian is going to try to pull off a gank in the bot lane. Mammon Feet already having to flash away, still has access to the cleanse. The WAP is now being under some heavy damage coming out from Sheffer as the axe goes through. So Obsidian getting flashes back on his own, as Mammon Feet and the WAP in the bot lane forced to use their flashes.
Yeah, so as I highlighted, this is actually like a good map movement initially from Yin. They're going to get themselves the Drake. They also got themselves mid prio, and now that this wave was actually bouncing back towards Yin, they actually decide to put the Ivern to good use there, and they're gonna force these flashes out as we maybe get a trade here, but I don't imagine you
might
can
do. The miasma is not well placed, but in the bot lane we see Shepard getting a first blood onto the WAP. The Weaver's Wall, not the best as that. I have to say, Valiant, I haven't seen the best talent ultimates come out of him in the 3 games that he's picked this champion up, and you know, he will just get the top side, but those early ganks from Obsidian forcing the flashes meant that Shepard is going to pick up first blood in the bot lane. As this is exactly what you said. People just hate playing against an AD carry who can play this aggressive in the lane phase.
They got them very low, and the push was apparently coming out. They just don't take the recall. They don't want to lose a CS, so they're gonna find a pick. I don't know exactly how they happened, but it's this Alistar's not level 6 yet, so it's actually very, very killable. As we see Draven actually getting out of a recall there by the skin of his teeth, it looked like.
Wow. Yeah. And that so that's the thing about the Draven, and you know, as you said, this is why people fear it so much. He cashed in first blood, cash in, kill, and you look at the HUD over there. Trinity Force already completed. We're 9 minutes into the game, so this Draven is gonna pump out some crazy damage. And Kaiser, yes, you're even in farm, you're managing to keep that up, but you can only answer with some shoes and a noon quiver. So yeah, Draven very far ahead already.
So I recently saw some discussion in well, actually we see some action there down the river. It was Rel versus Tristana.
Yeah, action in the river. That Tristana ultimate is going to push Obsidian and Wiggies away. But look at Ivan. Obsidian feeling confident to push forward. He's going to land the root onto the WAP, which brings Wiggy into range, and he's going to get himself the kill. So Obsidian and Wiggies is going to partner up to get themselves a kill in the jungle. Was Zench and 20 Proporn will fight out in the top lane. Zench is going to be brought to low HP. He's going to use the flash to get away from 20 Proporn, as that could have been a scary situation for the Renekton. But just for now, it is going to be a trade of flashes. But more importantly, Gucci Yin, 2 kills on the board.
A nice pickup there from the Ivern. Nice root collar there at the end to actually still lock down this Alistar. He's still not level 6. He's still very squishy right now, and they're starting to lose a lot of momentum on the bot side of the map. And in the meantime, top lane had a fight that actually did go into the favor of the Poppy, but she didn't quite set up a freeze, so no real damage done there for Zengsh, as both sides use flash, nothing happens. Yeah. As we see Tristana looking for something, but yeah, the biggest counter to Tristana bomb is just walking away, and the snake will just do that.
Yeah, just walking away indeed, and you can see Falina was looking for something. And speaking of looking for something, Wiggies has caught the WAP out, and that's going to be another cash-in for the Draven. And if you're looking at Beast Team Esports, this has to be the worst-case scenario happening right now.
This is looking to run away a little fast from them now. This Draven out to 0 and a 0 and 3 on the WAP. So,
oh my god, look at the goal.
Rough game there for them, and then you see 1,400, almost 1.5k up for the Draven. This is really scary. They have really good pick potential here with this Rel, with this Ivern. It's just gonna be one piece of lockdown into 2 autos from a Draven and ultimate, you have to imagine. But in the meantime, with all this bot lane fighting, they will secure them a topside objective here, as top lane has managed to keep it stable, although the CS lead is still in the favor of Zengsh. But I think he must be very happy right now with the game state. Like, yeah, just ignore me. I'm fine here. I got more CS, and my Draven, yeah, he's got himself 3 axes in that Triforce already, as he's now picking up boots as well. He's looking very strong.
Looking very strong indeed. But, you know, I do want to bring your attention to sort of the draft, because I kind of feel like, yes, Cassio does scale really well into late game. I don't think Draven's late game damage is bad, especially when he's this far ahead. But looking at Talia, Tristana, Kaiser, Poppy, a lot better scaling on the Beast Team Esports team than what I'm seeing on Gucci Yin. And speaking of, the WAP is getting caught out once again. There goes the Daisy being popped down. The stun is going to land. This is only the Rill and the Ivan, so the damage isn't going to be too high for now. The teleport comes in. That's Zench arriving onto the scene. And once again, the WAP caught out. 100% death participation so far. And he is not doing any whapping just for now, as Kim Jensen is going to use the ultimate to stun up Valiant, and it was only Danny 8x8 left to do the damage, so he will get out of that. You can see Gucci Yin focusing on the Dragon and the Herald spawn in mid lane, but yeah, Gucci Yin, they look like they're catching up this Alistar at every possible moment.
He did have ult, but they had so much locked and the TP coming down as well. There's no way out here. Now his ultimate's also gone.
What?
He flashed in.
What on earth did I just watch?
But I guess that's best case scenario. The Ivern gets that kill, but I don't know why you would want to risk that there. I think that's just
Wait.
gone. Just leave it. But
That was only second trade.
that was indeed only second Drake. They were looking for some cryo play there with the Herald in mid lane, and he kind of just wants to get the Drake as well. But actually, great solid smiting here from Obsidian.
Nah, you know what? I respect it. I respect it. You know, when you're in that moment, you're like, I just have to. Like, I can't not go for this. Right?
I can understand where it's coming from. You're looking for any sort of advantage going your way right now because it's a 0 and 5 on a scoreboard, and it's feeling rough. But you brought up the scaling, so I want to go towards that point, and I think I don't really like it all that much inside of the Beasts here because they have two very protective champions in the top lane, which means Tristana has a pretty rough time going forward. And if your tempo is down and you want to look for picks, I mean, if you're all you're doing is defending, then how are you going to get to this Draven? You have to go through an Ivern and a Rel. Like, I don't know how you do that. And then in team fights, if they choose to go for that, as we
Actually, the WAP is going to combo up Sheffer here. He does have the flash available, but he goes too aggressive. That's a shutdown going on to Mammon Feet. Falionet finishes off Wiggies, and that's the response exactly what Beast Team Esports had in the kitchen as Sheffer and Wiggies go down in the bot lane from a gank from Falionet, and bit of an overstep from the Draven there.
Huge shutdown, very, very needed, coming down very nicely. You see now that the gold gap is already halved now. It's, I think it was 2k before, it's now only just 1. That's actually, no, it's only 700, but they try to shut me up there. I was talking about the late game really, but yeah, early game, there's very much ways to get on this Draven here. I believe it wasn't even used with a flash, so if you have these god Dravens, they could actually just use their E to block the combo from Alistar and knock him out of it. But not quite there, so they do get on top of him. And yeah, I think that's a bit, maybe they were just like overconfident here in this bot lane that they don't think they can die anymore, but they will find that pick, and it's very much needed on the side for Beast here.
Yeah, very much needed indeed. And I think looking at the game as a whole, Gitchi Yin, yes, they did drop in the bot lane, but the game is still looking good for them as Obsidian is in the mid lane, just whiffs on the Q, but very close. And we can see both junglers seem to be playing very aggressive in the early game. Obsidian has been looking for plays all around the map, and so is Falionet. They've just been on the opposite sides of each other. And, you know, is this intentional? Is this something that both junglers intended to do? Because, you know, I can imagine Atalia, you know, doesn't do that much damage against the Ivern, so you want to, you know, avoid fighting against him and fighting on other sides of him. As actually, there's a Weaver's Wall onto Kim Jensen. He doesn't have to flash this time. So it's going to be Danny 8x8 securing that kill. And Falionet, I've been critical of his Weaver's Walls on the Talia, but this time around it was textbook. It was perfect as Kim Jensen will fall in the mid lane.
Yeah, nice pickup there. Just Tristana getting a little bit further on this mid lane part, I guess. Although the CS is still in his advantage, so I don't think it's too big of a deal just yet. As we're looking to get a little bit more of an even game state at this point. Like, you actually see the gold gap is completely close now for the Beast, so that's looking very nice here.
Yeah,
so the Raven is gonna start to get more of a lead again, I guess.
Yeah, and I mean, I want to ask you, I'm not too informed on Draven builds. What is he kind of going towards here?
I'm not a Draven player myself, and it's recently that this Triforce build has come up with, and I think you combine it with some more lethality as well, but I think it's going to be something like a Collector that he's looking into, and then afterwards, I mean, you just go more damage, so anything with flat AD and crit is going to be fine, I guess. Because of the Triforce, I'm not sure if you want to keep on focusing on crit personally. I'm not too sure. And the other hand, you do see, Kaisa know a little bit more about that one. She's going for a full AD build. She's not looking to poke here with this static, what's the other one, Nashor's Tooth combo. She's going full AD, as we see, it's a mid lane pickup.
Yeah, there's a fight in the mid lane, and once again, Falionet and Danny 8x8 find a catch onto Kim Jensen, but it's going to be Obsidian having to flash away. Look at the Daisy. She I don't know what gender Daisy is, and actually Sensu's going to arrive onto the scene. Look at the engage from Wiggies. That's the support of Kachi in the captain. Lands a 3-man engage, and there goes the team, the Beast team. They are on the run. The Draven ult is going to come in. It's going to go wide, and the Poppy and the Alistar will try to fight this out. Mammon Feet looks like he's disconnected, or something. I'm not sure what's happened there, as the keeper's verdict is not going to land on the targets. Gucci Yin so far, they are winning out on the fight. The WAP is going to get jumped on by Senshin Wiggies. Wiggies jumps forward, lands another stun. The Alistar is in danger. He's brought to low HP. Shepard is going to pick up that kill. And Mammon Feet, I don't know what happened there. I'm not sure if he disconnected in the Dragon Pit. That would have been unfortunate if that was the case. But Gucci Yin, they win out on the fight nonetheless. And it was Wiggies landing that big engage onto 3.
Great team play here coming out from Gucci Yin, as they started off actually with Kim Jensen getting caught there. I believe his flash was still quite down, but it was a bit strange to get caught there. Your team members were so close, maybe just stepping a little bit too forward, not having sight on that push. As a very good shovel from the Talia comes in there to pick up that kill, but everybody is ready to collapse, and you see Gucci Yin fighting as a team, whereas, as you highlighted, Mammon Feet was just kind of standing and watching as his Poppy was kind of like trying to do something, but he doesn't want any part of it, so maybe some disconnected team comes there or something.
Yeah,
but,
yeah, unfortunate. I'm not sure. Maybe he was just waiting for like a good alt angle. I'm not sure, but yeah, regardless, Gucci Yin went out in the team fight. And actually, one thing I want to talk about is this Ivan pick. At the start of that fight, you know, we saw him sitting, getting caught out, but he was able to flash away, get himself to safety. And what was there? It was a Daisy, knocking everyone up and causing havoc. What is it like to play against an Ivan? Because it feels like Daisy is an extra champion.
she kind of is an extra champion. The biggest part about it is that she also blocks skill shots, so it's kind of annoying for someone like a Kaisa. I think it's not that big a deal for the other champions, except for the Talia. She will soak a lot of damage from there. But she's the biggest deal about this Daisy is that it's just a lockdown coming in, and she acts as an additional frontliner, and they actually have quite some frontline already. Whereas on the side of Beast, yeah, you have an Alistar, but he's quite far behind. If he doesn't have ultimate, he's not tanky at all. And then it's just a Poppy. But yeah, Poppy can't really lock people down unless they've run forward or they dash in. So we see a potential
Obsidian has arrived into the mid lane. He's gonna perfectly land the Q. Danny 8x8 is forced to flash away, so the Tristana flash is down. And one thing I have noticed, Gucci Yin, they are really far ahead. Sheffer, 4 kills on the board, but they are actually down in gold because all the gold is in the pocket of this Draven. I don't think there's much gold in the hands of the other members of Gucci Yin. But I mean, Beast Team Esports, you have money, you have the money on the Tristana, you have the money on the Kai'Sa, and the Talia. If we're talking about gold on the right members, Beast Team Esports definitely have that for them.
Yeah, there's definitely ways to fight back. As we see
actually,
coming down.
Yeah, we see that Weaver's Wall is going to come through. Jumps off a little bit early, so won't get into range of the Draven. The knock up against the wall is going to go onto Wiggies, and down goes the Rel at the start of the fight. Kim Jensen is going to teleport in, but that's too little too late, as another kill going into the hand of Beast Team Esports. So a rocky early game for them. They were down 0 kills to 5, but they've bounced back, gotten themselves 5 kills of their own, and with a gold lead now, looking pretty decent in this game.
This is looking like a really good play for the Beast here, as they also get the teleport from Kim Jensen and they just back on out. They're fine. Meanwhile, Mammon Feet was pushing top. They just chunk more damage. They're losing waves here. This is how they're getting their gold lead, right? If you're looking at this difference here, yes, they have kills on the side of Gucci Yin, and the CS is actually, if it's not looking even, you're either ahead, except for maybe the Diver there. It's famously like a low CS champion. But everything else is they have 2 towers, and Yin just only picked up their first right now. He was also plating in the early game as well, so I think the map movement from the Beast is still keeping them in this game here, and they're now going toe-to-toe in kills as well. So if they can find these picks like they just have, then this is looking a lot more rough for Yin, because if you have to fight together with this Ivern, play it front to back, play with your Draven.
Yeah, very well put. Honestly, Beast Team Esports have transitioned into this mid game very well. And actually, speaking of transitioning into mid games, this is, I feel, where Gucci Yin have shown a bit of a weakness and a bit of a. They've been able to throw leads as a result of this, but nonetheless, we see a bit of a dance in the topside river. But, you know, speaking of leads and all that, I feel like Gucci Yin, you're still okay with the current situation because, yes, your Cassio is a bit behind. Yes, your Ivan's a bit behind, but you have a 4-kill Draven, 2.5 items completed, and an Ivan on your team. So I don't think you're necessarily too concerned about your Draven not being too far. Sorry, being extremely ahead. So You are happy with that? As
They're
teleport
gonna
will
look
come
for a
in.
Herald mid lane as
Actually,
Yin is
very,
not
very
responding
nice
to TP.
teleport, as it's going to delay the Rift Herald charge, and they might be able to cancel this. It doesn't get cancelled. It does go through, and it breaks down the mid turret. So,
That is another tower on the side of the beast here.
yeah.
To my earlier point, their tower taking is looking a lot better than Yin, and it's giving them map control. So we're now gonna see 30-second spawn on this Drake as everybody is hovering towards. This is gonna be a big one. I hope you've got that tongue twister figured out, because you're gonna have to cast something here. I get the feeling.
Yeah, something is coming. Beast Team Esports, they got themselves ahead with the Heralds and the turrets, but at the sacrifice of dragons. Gucci Yin on Dragon Soul Point. So if they get this, that's the Mountain Dragon in their hands, and everyone will be as solid as a rock as Beast Team Esports. Now you can see how they're posturing around this Dragon Pit. They are not wanting to give this up. Sedge initially going onto the mid wave to make sure that gets pushed in, as we see Chronicle Paw hanging around the wings on the Poppy. Does have the flash, so can get a flash engage onto the Draven. The Dragon has already been started up. This is a Tristana, Kai'Sa, and Talia. This gets absolutely shredded. Obsidian is too far away, so the Dragon goes into the hands of the Beast Team Esports. But look at Sheffer doing the damage on the Talia. Valiant is the first to fall in the fight. Zedge and Chronicle Paw in a 1v1 on the bottom side of that fight, but on the top side, it is Sheffer taking down the Alistar. Double kill now for the 80 carat Good Chi Yin, as there's now a jump onto the Poppy. Twiggy's going to lead that charge forward. Trying to is a tanky man, but there are actually big damage coming out from Danny 8x8, so Gucci Yin will back off, but crucially, they win the team fight. But Beast Team Esports, you did secure yourself the Dragon, so it will delay that Mountain Soul.
Yin already picked themselves up 3 Drakes earlier. It doesn't matter that they lose this Drake. They're gonna set such tides right onto the Baron right now, as their jungler on the side of Beast is still dead. But they're gonna have a TP answer coming in, because Yin is actually very low on 2 members here. It's like quite a crucial members as well, that are your frontliners. As we're gonna see everybody coming in here.
Yeah,
Can they get this?
coming in. This is a very risky Baron call. Obsidian is going to be the ones to secure it with the smite. Danny 8x8 is fighting Sheffer on the front line. Danny 8x8 wins out just enough. The poison from the Kim Jensen Cassiopeia takes down the Tristana, and he's stuck in the pit. Obsidian is going to get out with the Baron buff, but the team fight win goes over to Beast Team.
I'm on feet, hanging on by a sliver of health. Great response here from the Beast. They will lose the Baron, as this call is... I think it's a bit risky on the side of Gucci Yin, but they will get it. But they just can't get out. They're stuck in a pit. This is a Poppy, a Tristana, an Alistair. They're all gonna keep you there, and they just kind of front to back, and then your frontliners are too low to fight back. If you have this one Baron buff left now, but you had a really good team fight win. I think this was a bit too rushed, as you now give shutdowns to the side of Beasts, and this is actually the first big team fight win here for the side of Beasts. This is a very, very big one to come back into this game.
Yeah, first big team fight win, and crucially, you know, one Baron buff secured, but it's on the jungler, not necessarily playing in on the lanes too much. As yeah, Gucci Yin, they did get themselves the Baron, but crucially, Kim Jensen, a bit of a quiet unit this game. He actually did massive amounts of damage in that team fight. He almost took down the Kai'Sa in a 1 versus 3 with a 3-man. What's the ultimate called again? What is it?
Let's see.
What's the
Not
Cassio
real
ultimate called?
seeking in right now.
Petrifies and Gaze. I'm not going to say it, I'm just calling an ultimate. Yeah, Kim Jensen on the Cassiopeia is slowly scaling. We talk about scaling. There's not an insane amount of scaling on Gucci Yin, but if there is scaling, it is on their mid laners. He was able to do a lot, but more importantly, Danny 8x8 and Mammon Feet were pumping out so much damage, and trying to pour on this Poppy is a menace in the front line. So Beast Team Esports, they did just win that team fight, and it was the first big team fight that they were able to win.
When you bring that up, I'm a little bit wondering about the boots choices on the sides of Renekton and the Rel. You're gonna be tanking auto attacks from 280 carries, full 80 carries, and neither have opted into Ninja Dabai. We're not seeing steel gaps here, as I guess the ability haste makes sense in some way for this Rel, but I think you just want to live longer against these 280 carries. They're both considered also hyper carries, so very big damage coming through. As we will see that Herald being used to get this top lane tower at least, so they're gonna get themselves another outer here. As we actually see the game taking a little bit more of a slow pace right now. They just got themselves an objective, gonna get themselves the resets through. as they're gonna have to answer in this bot wave as well as this top wave. So we're gonna see people moving towards their sides to deal with it.
Yeah, a slower game, as you said, and I think what Beast Team Esports probably understand is like this Kai'Sa, this Tristana, they will scale up and just as an identity for a team. I do notice Beast Team Esports, they like to give time for Mammon Feet to scale and farm up. And then as soon as that 35-minute mark hits, that's where he goes crazy aggressive. And I think that's exactly what they're doing here.
Yeah, I think that's exactly a really nice point to highlight here. He's gotten a line, he's got himself 3 items. Even if you do pick up armor right now, this is a Kai'Sa who's got Quick Blade, so she resets her abilities very fast, so she can hit constantly, non-stop, and she's got that LDR, so she's gonna shred anything. The passive also increases, it just increases damage the more health you have. And that is not physical damage, by the way, so her passive also scales with this, like a little side note. So she is going to shred pretty much anyone, as I don't even see any armor besides of Gucci.
Oh, actually, Weaver's Wall is going to come through, and look who's trapped. It's Sheffra and Kim Jensen trapped in, but the cancel from the E is going to stop the Poppy engage as Wiggies. He flashes forward into the enemy backline, but keep your eyes on Sheffra and keep your eyes on Mammon Feet. Sentra's going to go down. Beast Team Esports are winning this team fight.
He's all
Kim
alone.
Jensen left on his own. That's Tristan ultimate is going to push him to the side. He can't do anything left as double kill goes in for Mammon Feet. Sheffra was knocked away by the keeper's verdict, and Beast Team Esports with another team fight, 2 in a row. They will put their attention onto this Mountain Dragon as Tronny Papor and the WAP will look towards the members of Gucci Yin that remain as a Obsidian landing a Q, but Sheffer is too scared. He is too worried that there are way too many members on the enemy team. And once again, it's Beast Team Esports winning out on the team fight.
What a beautiful team fight there. It is actually really nicely orchestrated by using these ultimates together. As this Poppy ult is also going to divide them afterwards. You see this Weaver's Wall coming through. They do manage to get the cancel with the Draven on the Poppy, but the Cassio is just stuck there, and they'll find the shovel. She's chunked out the health, which means Wiggies he's feeling like he's forced to go in to keep him stuck, but he's just going to get denied.
Oh,
it's exactly what their team comp wants to do. And then a beautiful Poppy ult to split the rest off. King Jensen all on his own as a new team fight going.
Wiggies gets himself onto 3. That's a big engage. Kim Jensen's already picked him up some. 1 kill. Shot down onto the Poppy to follow. Danny Abaye has teleported into the fight. The petrifying gaze is going to be used to slow. Obsidian is going to flash forward. The Zonia's has been blocked, but it's not going to do anything. Sheffer, Clyde pushes him forward. Gets a shutdown onto the Kai'Sa. And Kim Jensen gets a kill. That's an ace. They're pushing down the base. This could be the end of the game as Beast Team Esports, they go way too aggressive, get themselves caught, and lose the fight.
Out of one team fight, the replay goes, and the next one starts, and all of a sudden, like, they just got picked off. It felt like 1 by 1. They just got bursted 1 by 1, as it's just Alistair left to defend his base. He can't even go in. Beautiful Draven. He's just getting locked down. I think they're just taking turns beating him down here, as he does manage to pull the wave, but it's 5 seconds on Talia and 6 on the Poppy. She does have the ultimate. She might be able to stall this, as Gucci Yin is taking tail here. They're not gonna go and commit to this, because this Poppy ult could deny the entire wave here, as they're gonna take the safe play and just gonna turn towards the Baron. Crazy turn of events. I thought this game was actually over. Actually, great stall there, actually, I have to mention then, from the Alistair. It's gonna buy them crucial time here, but we're actually gonna see recalls coming through from Gucci, and they're not gonna rush this one down, but they do have a member advantage, so I think they could be able to do it. Their ultimates are up, but they're not deciding for it, so this is gonna allow Beasts to run in here and get this vision. I think it's a bit of a weird decision, but yeah, they see that the Baron's not started, so they're also not gonna take position here, because they're gonna get bases in, so I guess Gucci Yin will just get Baron control again. A bit weird.
Yeah. Not much happened, but I think definitely we didn't see the setup as we were in replay, but Beast Team Esports, they win 2 team fights in a row. And, you know, when we panned back to live, all I saw was Wiggies landing a beautiful engage, and the rest of the damage followed. So, Gucci Yin, they will get priority on this Baron already.
They're looking to be in a very good spot to take this here. The mid lane's also automatically pushing in for them. So they're going to be just clearing out some... They're going to be trying to clear some vision out to get some control back here, but it's quite scary. You only have that 1 ward actually to see further up, but Yin doesn't have to go for this. They're actually showing that they want to just commit to this top lane here.
Yeah, committing to the top lane, and crucially, look on your screens, ladies and gentlemen. The flashes are not available for Gidchiin. There's not a single flash that is up for them. And
Alistair's
the
looking.
last few team fights have gone in their way because of the access to these flashes, the flash engages, everything else. But they're all down for now as they are just dancing. So yeah, not too much as I think they're just going to play with waves here.
This river ward is so big on the side of Beast, it just tells them that they haven't run to the Baron, so they don't really have to face check this control ward that denies vision. Is not that big a deal, as now they will see everybody and they will find that ward a very good sweeper here. So now they are actually completely in the blind, I believe. So now it's looking a lot more rough. If they have to go in here, they have to go through these chokes. That is just a perfect place for the Duel to fight with their ultimate. And they're gonna spot it out. They've started the Baron. How is Beast gonna contest this?
Baron started up and they're just going to pull away as they see Beast Team Esports all going in. They're starting against the wall. Reese is already to the fight. And that picks up that kill. Danny 8x8 and Mammon Feet has seen Obsidian trapped in the Baron pit. And as I said, no flashes available. So that's 2 kills going over for Beast Team Esports. No jungler alive. So they get the Baron buff and a small positioning hiccup. Good Yin lose 2. They lose the Baron. Beast Team Esports, they will push through the mid lane.
They're looking to answer the mid inhib as well. What a great pickoff here for the Beast. They just kind of run in and Yin is just, they thought they could just turn tail, but the Poppy coming in greatly like just stuns down this Rel, and I believe she couldn't even proc the aftershock, so she just gets deleted. And then your Ivern was stuck in the pit without flash. You lose 2 members. You have to deal with this right now, but I do think they're gonna turn, they're gonna get their inhibitor, as they're gonna turn to get the 3rd Drake here now. They actually got their 2 Drakes here actually off the back that Yin didn't need to contest them yet, but now that will be soul point for them as well. So I think they're gonna get this one for free, but the next one is gonna be a massive fight.
A massive fight indeed, as the Mountain Dragon is going to be started up and secured. Good Yin, their soul sweep was delayed 3 times in a row, so they are going to even up on the Dragons. Good Yin will try to push through the mid lane, and as it stands, it is so back and forth. The kill score is separated by a singular kill. The gold lead for this point in the game, I mean, to be fair, with items coming in, not as relevant as it is in the early to mid, but the gold lead, it's good for Beast Team, but it's not insane when you consider the amount of team fights they've won in consecutive rows. This game is on a knife's edge right now.
It is absolutely on a knife's edge. I think when you look at the gold, you look at the carries, and I think this Draven has hit 6, and this Cassio has also hit 4 items. Now she would like to have at least 5, maybe to match what is on the power of teamfight strength on Beast right now. They haven't finished quite as many items though, but I think their damage, if you've seen, like if they find somebody, they will absolutely delete you. So looking for those singular pickoffs like they have before, where there's just a little bit of hesitation on the side of Gucci is the way to fight here for Beasts. They have themselves, I think, a very good spot right now, as they've, with this Baron, they've managed to take control of the map again. As you see, they're gonna start pushing out these waves. Mid lane pushed in, they can just look to rotate on top lane here. Tristan is a little bit behind, so this tower is extremely low. This should be no contest here. Sanchez possibly answering this, but that could be risky. He's losing half his life.
Yeah, damage from Mammon Feet is already crazy. He's actually going to push forward. The cleanse is going to be pitch perfect, as Zench and Obsidian will have to instantly run away. And Mammon Feet on the Kai'Sa doing so much damage. And as you said, the scaling for Beast Team Esports is so strong. And it's so tough for Gucci to find angles.
A little bit of a questionable Weaver's Wall. It felt like it was actually peeling for the Renekton, but yeah, you saw him. He flashed him, but he managed to get out, crucially, but this damage is coming through, and this is where I look at the Renekton build, and I just, with this build, you are beefy, but 280 carries, you don't survive for long. This has to start on a pickoff for Yin, or this might be potentially a loss here.
Yeah, this might be Gucci Yin, Beast Team Esports. We talked about one team overperforming their expectations, one team underperforming their expectations. Now the game isn't over yet, but just at the moment, Beast Team Esports putting in a fantastic performance. As I can imagine there's going to be a bit of downtime here, as one crucial team fight probably will change the outcome of this game.
Yeah, they're just waiting for this timer. The funny part about this is that they're both very similar. There's only like 6 seconds between Baron and Dragon, and neither team is going to want to give either because there's a permanent buff on the map, but you have to imagine that this next Baron should also decide the game. So this is they really need to get vision on both, but I don't know how you deal with this situation if you're these teams. How do you decide between these buffs?
Yeah, it's a really tough one. I think what's interesting here is, like, I think Gucci Yin, if you lose Baron, the enemy team can kind of just push through the base. If you lose the Mountain Dragon, this Poppy and Alistair becomes way too tanky to lose. And he could say the same thing for the other side. So it's like both objectives are as important as each other, and they will be spawning at around the same time, as you mentioned. But more importantly, I think we're seeing that Tristana, having the elixir, meaning there is no item coming in anytime soon, I assuming. Kai'Sa full build. So these members, they won't get any much stronger from this point onwards. And taking a look at the Casio sort of inventory, there is still a Rabadon's to come in, and there's still another item following that to come in. So yes, the scaling as a whole from Beast Team is there, but Kim Jensen is the late game threat coming up from Yin, and not to mention this threat of the Draven is still there.
Do you know the cost of Rabadons?
One at this point, it should be 1100.
Okay, then I think he's not gonna get it when this next objective spawns. As
No, he's not gonna get it.
30 seconds, they're gonna move in for vision here. They need to get their footing in here, because if they're not there when it spawns and you're not in the river either, the dragon's gone. They just get popped. It looks like both teams are deciding to go for the Drake here.
Yep.
20 seconds. Is anyone gonna pull the trigger? They're staring each other down, Savonix.
Yeah, staring each other down. This dragon is going to make or break this game. It has been so back and forth. It's on a knife's edge. But look,
Yin wants to push.
They understand that the dragon isn't spawning anytime soon, so they're actually going for the push into the mid lane. And look at Beast Team, they're all split up. This is not what their team comp wants to do. Mammoth Team cannot access the fight. Weaver's wall is blocking Ernie Cow from doing anything in the fight, and he's not going to do any damage just up yet. Keep your eyes on Mammoth Team. He is trying to hit the members, but keep your eyes on Sheffer on the Draven. Kim Jensen and Sheffer are doing the damage, and the one goes down. Rampage for the Draven. That's 2 kills on the board for Gucci Yin as they start pushing out the members of Beast Team Esports. Valiant and Mammon Feet, and Danny 8x8 is left to run. You can imagine this Tristana.
Draven ult!
For the teleport, but the Draven ult, the death is going to pick up the
Root
kill. Kim Jensen is going to fast forward with of Obsidian, and the damage comes through. Sheffer on the Draven, shut down. Mammon, you're next to 4. The killer instinct was used to buy some time. The Guardian Angel block, and the final kill. Obsidian secures Gucci Yin. They win that team fight, and they get themselves the Mounted Soul.
A fantastic casting of Savonix to cast through like a minute of gameplay here. This is just an absolute banger at this point, but the game is still not over as Yin is looking to go towards the Baron. Or, no, they're gonna try and end the game, but this Poppy is alive. She could maybe just knock this entire wave out. There's no super minions just yet, but 15 seconds on Tristana. TP coming through as well. This is five members.
I hate it when you do that. But yes, this is the final push into the base. Keep your eyes on the respawn timers. Harriet has 10 seconds left, so Gucci Yin will start to fight. The Whack is going to use the headbutt to push Sheffer away, but the damage is coming through. Zench is going to jump in. He's acting front line. Sheffer goes godlike. The 28x8 is going to go down. Wiggies uses the Magnet Storm, jumps onto the head of Valiant, and he's after Triper Ball is the only one alive for now. Mammoth Feet has arrived onto the scene, but the focus is on the Nexus, and you cannot do anything against the pressure of Gucci Yin, and that's game 1 going to them.
What a banger. 41 minutes. Absolute, like, massive fighting on both sides. Looked so fantastic. It's that fight where Yin decides to just go for this inhibitor, and it surprised the Beast. I think they were completely caught off guard, and I think I saw Tristana jumping in there, and she just got, I think she's immediately popped, and then they fight front to back with their Draven. And once the tanks actually just couldn't quite lock down the important members, and then Beasts are just rattled, because then it's the Draven with a GA alive and an Ivern alongside him, and you saw Mammon Feet trying his best to get back into trying to get something there in the river, but just can't quite do it, and then it's just Yin running them over afterwards, like forcing these towers down with the TP coming in, the Daisy, as they're gonna secure them game 1. I'm excited for game 2.
Yeah, God, that was such a back and forth game. But that last Weaver's War, I have said, flying out on Natalia, he is very good at the champion, but his ultimates have been my only critical point. In that second last team fight, the Kai'Sa was blocked out from the start of the fight from the Talia ultimate. So unfortunately, the rough ultimates, it has led to game losing situations. And if that is not a game losing situation where you're blocking out your main damage source from the start of a fight, then yeah, it's a rough one for from Falionet and the Beast Team Esports team. But for them, you have to go away from this game and give yourself a pat on the back, because you were 5 kills to 0. That Draven started the game so strong, and you managed to bounce back. It was just a little bit unfortunate towards the end, but nonetheless, we aren't casting from a live game, so we will just head straight into the action as a game 2. We have it available already, and I'm super excited as I think we're being prepped up. But yeah, Algren, first game done and dusted. The win goes over to Gucci Yin for now, but going into the second game, what can you expect both teams to be doing differently?
I need a moment to come down there from the adrenaline from this game 1, but I think they're just going to take away the Draven. I don't think there's going to be going into game 2. I think your early game you fell a little bit too far behind. Your map movement actually kept you in the game, but then I guess it's just this, like, Ivern Draven did seem to be a little too hard to deal with, though. So I think they're going to kind of shake up the draft a little bit, at least, like maybe change some bans. I don't know exactly how it went down. But I think you can take confidence out of the game, that knowing that it went to 41 minutes. So I think both sides here had angles to win at any given point there past like 25 minutes. So I think you don't have to shake it up too much, just like a little things going differently. But I think Yin, with the momentum coming in here, they should have the edge here. They also, I don't think, have to pivot too much in their draft, because they did pick up the win. So the confidence coming here in game 2 might be the biggest factor here, I think, for Yin to take the second game.
Yeah, it might be. And, we speak of confidence. Losing a game like that, if your Beast team must feel so rough, because you had the scaling on your side. You had a fed Tristana and Kai'Sa in the late game. And even then, you still weren't able to pull through. And I think this is the interesting thing about series, is like being able to bounce back from a I don't want to use the word failure, but like a deficit like that is going to be a key metric here. Game already back in, and oh my god, Beast Team Esports have gone for a completely different setup.
They have gone with a Fiora top laner here versus the Aatrox. I think some people might say it's like a very heavily Fiora favor, but I think there's a lot of skill on the side of the Aatrox that you can fight back. So I'm curious about this top lane matchup. In the bot lane, you think you see that there's no Draven here. I imagine it was probably banned, but you do see the Rel versus the Kai'Sa Alistair again. So no pivoting for a draft there. Sorry?
The pings.
They're roping some stuff down, yeah. But
in game.
No action just quite yet.
Yeah.
Mid lane, a completely different approach, on the side for Beasts, going from the Tristana to a Ahri. Still aggressive though, but going into the magic damage department, as they also picked up the Rumble Jungle here. I think I'm very interested to see how this one's going to turn out, as that ultimate might be very good against the protection of something like an Ivern.
Yeah, and Obsidian, first game on the Ivern, had a stellar performance, made a lot of things happen in the early game to set that Draven up for success, and we'll pick that one up. This time around, Falionet going for the Rumble instead of the Talia, and it seems like the AP junglers are what he favors here. But yeah, Mammothie on the Kai'Sa once again, and Sheffer on the Lucian. Now, this is a champion I haven't seen in a while. What's Lucian like right now?
I think Lucian has lost a lot of favoritism, especially in pro player now, with Nami being a lot worse with it. They kind of took a lot of nerfs, but given that they also changed the passive, that it can also proc now when CC is being applied, kind of like when you're usually shielded. You do still have a lot of that early game power, so with Rel having 2 points of CC, if she lands both, that would be 4 auto attacks for Lucian to get that extra magic damage on, and the burst is quite relevant, but against an Alistair, it's kind of hard to find these angles right now. So I think I want to keep my eyes on this top lane, as we do see the early lane going towards with a push for the Fiora.
Yeah, you talked about matchups. It's really interesting. Going across the board, I'm seeing a good matchup for Victor here in mid lane. I don't know too much about the bot lane matchup. Maybe you can say who wins that one out. But I think Fiora into Aatrox is definitely a matchup that the Fiora likes, and going for the Ghost and Ignite. So I can't imagine this Fiora will do too much for his team. Probably will sit isolated in the side lane, and that's going to be a tall order for Zench. Zench, one of the star players. Oh, actually, love the trade as Danny 8x8 and Kim Jensen will duke it out. But yeah, Zench, one of the star players we have in the SLE this split. Last game, what didn't have too much impact as he was playing Renekton into Poppy, and this time around another tough matchup. Do you expect another quiet game, or are we going to see some action? As just as I ask, yeah.
That is your answer then right there. He actually wins out in the health department, so I think it's looking decent for the Aatrox, but it is pushing out, so they're gonna see some more action probably. This Fiora's not gonna stop with this grasp. She's just gonna keep on trading and chunk at their health. In the meantime, we saw Ivern sitting in that bot push, I think, for quite a long time, and meanwhile the Rumble kind of just took away that Scuttle Crab. So we do see, I think, a little bit of a small gold lead starting to develop on the side of the beasts, but nothing major just yet.
Yes, nothing major just yet, and you could probably imagine this is going to be a bit of a quiet early game. I
don't want it to be.
Yeah, I don't want it to be. But, like, after oh, actually, quite an early game. It's just a scam. As Wiggy is going to land a 2-max stun. Mammon Feet is having to flash away with his life. The heal was also expended. And already the action in the bot lane is good. Yin forced the summoner spells out. It will use theirs is as a trade, as Obsidian and Valiant will meet each other in the river. And Zench will have first move here. So, potential fight, but not happening as I'm seeing on my screen. Both mid lane is brought to low HP, but
yeah, actually fighting all across the board there. And we do see first blood going over to the chef.
Yeah, first blood going over to the chef as another first blood is missed out. No one likes to watch Chef get first blood anymore. As I'm just joking. As yeah, first blood, and as you talked about this Lucian pick, he does want to play aggressive in the early game, and right there. 1 kill already to the Lucian. The farm lead is in his favor, so that's a fantastic outcome for Sheffer and Botman.
Meanwhile, we see Ivern peeking out of the bush. Just kind of a funny animation, but yeah, I believe they won that fight early quite nicely. I don't know how it started, but then you see that Mammoth just doesn't want to give up the CS, I believe, and he just stays there, and he has to take that L. And then I think on that moment, that is where they found another angle.
Always Danny 8x8 is going to jump forward aggressively onto Kim. The charm is going to land, but he takes a turret shot, so he's going to be brought to low HP. He doesn't have the flash, so Kim Jensen won't be able to flash forward with the laser to secure the kill. But crucially, Danny 8x8 was level 6 against Kim Jensen's level 5 and almost falls down. So the Ahri so close in winning out in the solo kill. Kim Jensen does have to blow his flash, so a victory for Danny 8x8 there. But very close, and Victor without flash is a very scary situation.
Yeah, very easy to gank, especially with this Rumble ultimate. He doesn't have any gap closers, he doesn't have anything of defensive against this, so I have to imagine that's what the Beast should be looking towards to punish. As meanwhile, they're looking to pick themselves up a dragon, as we see a little bit of trading going on in top lane, but I think this dragon's just going to go over for the Beast with this fight going to the favor of the Ahri. Actually, she almost managed to die, but then you do see Ivern trying to save the wave here and help out this Victor, which is going to give them the tempo to pick up this Drake, picking themselves up a little bit of an advantage. It would have been fantastic if he did pick up that Victor kill, because he would have lost a lot of creeps there, but you're going to have to take consolation with this dragon.
Yep, dragon secured, and we saw last game, you got first Drake, and you can accelerate that into Soul Point as actually stun onto the Wap. The Wiggies plays that perfectly. The Wap stunned up. Wiggies is going to get himself the kill. Obsidian lands a Q onto Valiant. The Rumble is on the run. Danny 8x8 has arrived. He doesn't have access to the Spirit Rush, as it's just going to be a 1-for-0. And once again, Wiggies outplaying his opposite number here in the bot lane.
Beautiful stun there from the Rel coming down in the animation of the Alistair, and the Alistair was under tower, so just a really great punish there. As
Great
you then see
punish.
also oh, there's the Rumble ult.
When we talk about Flashless Victor, the charm is going to land. The Rumble ult dropped on his head, and that's going to be Kim Jensen going down as there's another fight in the bot lane as Sheffer finds himself a kill on to Mammonthy, and this Lucian, just like last game, is so far ahead. And I actually want to point out something I'm looking at in Twitch chat here of the top lane matchup here. If Zench is going to win this out up against an Ignite Fiora, this will be a massive victory for him as currently, even in CS, he hasn't even used the teleport yet. It's a tough matchup here. He is losing out slightly on the trades, but you have to feel trying to purport on the Fiora. You're going Ghost, Ignite, Fiora, no TP to help out your team. You have to get so much out of this matchup here.
Yeah, if you do take the Ignite, you have to win that lane, and you usually kind of need to find those skills very early on, because the longer this goes, I think it's the easier it becomes for Aatrox to just to neutralize this. So we see more of an attempt to keep going in, but he's actually losing out on this trade right now.
Losing out indeed.
Wiggy's coming in.
Wiggy's has arrived. There is no flash on the Fiora, so this could be absolutely disastrous. The Fiora needs to win this lane as he's going to pop the Ghost to try to run away. The rest of the Beast Team Esports have arrived, and look, the WAP, he's going to get flashed away by Obsidian, so the stun doesn't land, but crucially, the flash on the Ivan is gone as yeah, Beast Team Esports, great support, and one thing I have to commend of Beast Team, whenever one of their teammates is in danger, they are so quick to react and get to the support of their member under threat. And so Obsidian, you know, it did look like it was going well for Good Yin. It looked like Fiora was going to die, but instead it's Obsidian having to blow the flash, and yeah, well pointed out. Keep your eyes on the minimap as aggressive movements towards top lane happening, but crucially, here, it will be access to the Rift Herald, and without ATP available for the Fiora, you can imagine this will be secure. And actually, Danny brought to very low HP in mid lane here. Falionet is arriving, but there is a vision on him, and Falionet probably will sweep out this ward here as Danny probably just looking to push out the mid wave as Rumble ult is going to be dropped on Herald.
Yeah, he's trying to fish there for a free Herald, but that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
I love the map movement here from Gucci Jin. They're sending their members top lane first, and when the response comes in, they walk away, but then the Fiora is just too low health, and then she has to try to fix the wave, but then there's movement going to top lane again to punish her if she actually does try to fix the wave, so it's going to help result in...
Sheffer is alone in the bot lane, so Mammonthy is going to use the Killer Instinct forward, and that's going to force the flash out of the Lucian. Trading ultimate for flash has to be a very good win, so Sheffer stepping a little bit too far forward and getting punished for that.
He's picked himself up the Essence Reaver. He's gonna have to blow his flash right now. I think all in all, he's looking like the guys are still needed to base right now, so it's good tempo coming down to help with this Alistar to threaten him there. Getting his flash really nice, so he can't really play that aggressive right now for at least a couple of minutes. As we're gonna take a little bit of reset timer here to look back down on the map and see where we can make our next move, as we see the top lane's actually looking like we were talking about it earlier with this Ignite. You have to win the lane, but right now I think it's looking very much in the favor of Sanctuary, where he doesn't even need it to use any other summoner than TP.
Yeah, no, there's summoner than TP, but you know, you can imagine that as this lane goes through, there will be more opportunities for trying to purport to punish. But Zench at the moment doing a great job surviving just for now, and not just surviving, actually keeping ahead / slight lead. So for the Aatrox, that has to be very, very good. But nonetheless, if you're a champion that you can never count out, and a champion that you always have to respect in the side lane.
You do have to respect it in the side lane, but it does make your comp a little bit more predictable. You kind of have to play for side lane here, and this next dragon's going to spawn, and I don't even know if they want to contest it then, because your Fiora is not going to come down here, although you don't have TP on the Aatrox, so it might be a contest angle, but we do see Herald coming down. This is going to send, I would expect, some more answers from the Beast to mid lane. You could use that to take control of the river, but right now, going to see just WAP in the river.
Yep.
So right now, we're going to see some clearing.
Yeah, just some clearing for now, as the Herald was used to ensure priority for this dragon. So as you can see on your screens, Gucci Yin are the first to arrive to this objective, and with that, doubt there will be much contest coming up from Beast teams now. I could be wrong, because Danny 8x8 just shoved in the mid wave and will start posturing towards the bot lane. The blast cone was taken over, so Mammonthy, the WAP, and Falionet will be grouped up with each other, with Danny 8x8 on the sides, but Danny 8x8 chunked out to half HP by Kim Jensen. Down goes the red carpet, but it's not that good of a rumble lord. The catch is firstly onto Wiggies, but the Magnet Swarm is beautiful and goes on to 2. Valiant is going to get finished off by the Dragon, and a bit unfortunate as with the objective finishes you off, but the chase goes through. Obsidian flashes forward, gets a route onto Mammon Feet. Shepard is going to dash forward, but the flash over the wall from Mammon Feet will secure his escape, but more importantly, that's going to be the Hextech Dragon going over to Gucci.
It's Beast who call down the pincer move first with the Ari on the flank. They pull the trigger to go forward, but crucially, Wiggy still manages to land his ultimate, land his stun, and they will be answering him immediately. To get, believe they pop somebody immediately right after. You see them here coming down first with the red carpet, then Wiggies is kind of like stuck here for a moment, but they lack quite the damage to finish him off as this counter move comes out, and the Dragon is actually the one who finishes off the Rumble as well. And that actually great movement here from this guy to still manage to get out here. He does use his flash though, but crucially not giving another kill to this Lucian, who's right now 2-0-3, as he's looking kind of like, he's kind of again in the same spot that he was last game in, looking to be that primary carry for the side of GN.
Yeah, he is looking like a carry at the moment, and I'd love to take a look at the gold just to see who the money is on. Yeah, as you can see, Lucian's so far ahead already, and this was, you know, just as you mentioned perfectly, just like last game. And Mammon Feet, such a strong AD carry when it comes to being able to scale to those late game fights, but you know, a difference in styles. Sheffer so aggressive in the lane phase, and is this potentially a matchup difference here where Sheffer, an early game laner, and Mammon Feet, someone who likes to scale, and you know, at the moment Sheffer looks like 2 games out of 2 getting ahead in the early game.
Yeah, he's looking to be very good at the same time. You have to wonder, like, can I also get an Ivern? Maybe that's something that Mammon Feet might be calling, because that is, I think Obsidian's been playing very well for him as well.
Yes,
jump forward, and
forward.
he gets the flash from Victor there. Really nice play.
Flash from Victor, and I mean, taking a look at objectives, there aren't any coming up within you know, the next 2 minutes, but there will be a Dragon available where Kim Jensen does not have that flash unless he's running some secret special runes. But yeah, I think right now Gucci in the driver's seat, but you know, what can Beast Team Esports do from here to turn the tide?
Well, they just burned the flash from the Victor, so I think we just saw last time you can rerun this. You don't need this Rumble for any objective. And oh, actually, there is a Herald spawning, so maybe you want to play for that one. But I think if the Victor does contest it, you know where to put that red carpet then again, I guess. So meanwhile, in top lane, we actually, I think, see the Fiora trying to commit to maybe a play here on the Aatrox.
Yeah, play on the Aatrox could be happening, but Obsidian is actually here, and the teleport is coming in. Kim Jensen is going to be first, so he misses out on the laser, unfortunately, and the ultimate as well. So the Victor damage isn't going to be as big as it could be, but Zedge is going to flash forward and make sure that Fiora goes down. Valiant is left on his wand, and that's going to be the kill being picked up by Obsidian. Zedge is going to push forward, has played this matchup perfectly, and going to get himself very far ahead off the back of this fight.
Finally, we see the top lane and matchup decided as it's Zench to manage to kill the Fiora. It's not quite in a 1v1, but it's really nice team play as both sides actually send multiple members to try and break this top lane tie. But we do see the CS lead, we do see the kill lead now coming through the Aatrox, so I guess Twitch chat, you've got your answer. You see Team Chef almost killing Alistar with the culling, so he's gonna have to pop the ultimate, and they're gonna get themselves a mid tower as well. Gucci Yin is starting to run away with this game.
Yeah, starting to run away, and break down this little replay for us here, as this was pretty crazy.
I think it's really, really nice movement again from the Ivern to be first here, and this Fiora is kind of overextended. She used the W, so she doesn't have anything to come out of this anymore. She doesn't have quite the damage yet either for Kim Jensen, even though he misses some of his initial spells. It's just not enough, and then, yeah, Rumble committed his red carpet, but he didn't quite get the value. He didn't use it for the Victor, for example, so they just can't run him down because with the shields from on the side of the Ivern, they just don't have the DPS anymore when your Fiora is already dead.
Yeah, and you know, you touched on Obsidian's contribution to not just this game, but the last game. I think in the last game as well, he did sacrifice a lot of his farm leads and a lot of his clearing speed to make sure he was always there when his team needed him to be. And you know, as a non-jungler yourself, how valuable is it that your jungler is there first and always being in the right places at the right time? As that help?
We see
Speaking
it
of,
kill
speaking
down.
of, yeah. Speaking
There
of
it is,
punishing,
though.
there you go. There you
They
go.
finally managed to put the red carpet on this Victor, as his flash is actually still down for more than a minute. But yeah, when you bring it down to junglers being able to move first, I think tempo is kind of everything. If your jungler's there, you have to, in the early game especially, it doesn't matter that you're like an Ivern, the minimal damage you can apply to keep somebody stuck, to burn summoners, I think that just puts the enemy in a very awkward spot. It creates more windows for opportunity, as we see Wiggy's looking for this Alistair, but don't think he could quite lock him down as he still has all of his combos. He's not going to force anything, no flash or anything, as he kind of with the Q. But this next dragon is spawning in the top lane, kind of healthy, going towards the Aatrox again. But I think this next objective is going to be this Drake right there.
Yeah, as Rift
Do you see the Herald go down?
Yeah, once again, Gucci Yin, rinse and repeating. Last time they spawned the Herald in mid lane and accessed the Dragon Pit, and this time will be the same thing with Wiggies. Is going to flash forward onto Falionet. He is on all alone, and there is no red carpet available to him to use, as the jungler of Beast Team Esports is chunked out, which means Gucci Yin will head straight to the Dragon.
Great move here from Gucci side of Gucci in here. They're gonna pressure them off, and with these summoners being burned on the side of the Rumble, there's not gonna be much of a smite with this. You will never get close to this. They're gonna just forfeit it. They're gonna try and trade here for the mid lane, I believe, but the tower's still pretty healthy. There's no contest, so they're gonna send their members down to clear that wave anyways, as they're now gonna look maybe towards top side. As we see Sench TPing top lane, that could actually be a target to dive potentially.
Yeah,
we do see the TP on the side from Victor if they could respond here.
Yeah,
but I do
Team Esports, they have taken over the top side jungle of Gucci, and I think Zench will fish that out, so Beast Team Esports will run away. But yeah, Beast Team really far behind right now, and you have to feel they're losing turrets all across the board. You have to feel their windows of coming back are very, very slim right now.
Yeah,
as Zench is just gonna solo kill the Fiora. In a 1-2, Zench is going to push forward even further. Falionet is going to fall, and that's the star player of Gucci Yin. 2v1 in the top lane.
It took him a while, but he's just completely taking control of this matchup right now. The Fiora just gets killed, and then this Rumble, I think he did use the red carpet. It didn't matter. He's also going to be run down, and that's actually, ironically, Sench actually has now the most kills on the team, being on that island. Great job by him, and as he think he might even start getting himself another turret as well, as there's no answer here on the side of Beast, so they're just bleeding all over the place. They also just lost their mid lane tower. They're trying to fish for something, but they're just not getting anything right now.
Yeah, and I do respect the attempt from Tronny Papour. You're up against the monstrosity Goliath that is Zench, and you want to try and take that skill matchup into him. You want to try and show him up, but unfortunately for him, it is Zench coming up 3-0 into an Ignite Ghost Fiora. And, you know, I saw it earlier in the Twitch chat. This would be a disaster if Fiora was to lose out on this matchup, considering the setup that was taken, considering the matchup that you have. And up for Beast Team Esports, you are looking at a fed Aatrox, a fed Lucian heading into the mid game, and it is currently not the ideal situation, but Beast Team Esports. Mammon feet on the Kaiser. I've seen this man pull off the most insane team fights, and if there is something to hang on, it is on to him.
We're gonna see actually another pickoff, but she does have her post, so there's not gonna be any lockdown just quite yet. So, but yeah, as you highlight, I think it's gonna be incredibly difficult for the side of Beast to fight this, because all these carries that are so fed. There's also an Ivern with shields behind him. You do have your Kai'Sa, who's somewhat strong, but she doesn't have quite the same items right now as the other members on the side of Gucci Yin. She's down a full item, it looks like, on the Lucian as well. And then you don't have quite the damage, I believe, to burn through someone like an Aatrox, especially not with the shielding coming down. There's a redemption on this Ivern as well. And on top of it all, your team comp doesn't really excel at picking somebody off. Yes, you have an Alistair, but you also have the Fiora, so it's going to be very rough to contest this. So you're going to maybe always see an attempt here from the Ahri, but there's team members behind, giving chances, so he should be fine. As all eyes are on this Baron right now, as maybe we actually see the fight starting top lane here with this Fiora looking to maybe contest. As we see Ahri going in.
Is actually going to use the Sparrow Rush forward. That's all the Ahri charges use. The WAP is going to flash forward. Kim Jensen is going to go down. Wiggies, that's a beautiful engage. Sheffer is trying to pop out the damage, but Lucian, not the tank killer that the Kai'Sa is, so the WAP will get out. Obsidian is going to pop the move speed buff forward as Wiggies and Sheffer, you can see they're trying to push forward, but Beast Team Esports, we talked about what they needed to do. do exactly that as Kim Jensen has fallen down in the mid lane.
They find themselves a really nice pickup with the Ivern being top lane. He wasn't there to shield or protect anybody. Now this Fiora's actually on her own.
Speaking out of picks, Johnny Papour is under big heat. The riposte is not good as the roots are going to land. Zech goes on a rampage as he picks him up. The 4th kill of the game, and you can imagine this is going to be maybe attention towards the Baron here as Obsidian is going to send the Daisy and himself into the pit. And we saw last time BC Esports were able to bring themselves back into the game off Gucci Yin starting up the Baron. Danny 8x8 is trying to contest. He does have the ultimate available, and look at that culling damage coming out of Sheffer. The Spirit Rush is having to be used to escape, so Ari won't have that for the fight, and the attention to the Baron continues. Oh my god, I'm going to have to be talking for a long time as this Baron has lasted for a while. As the Whack, he is waiting around the wings. He is looking for an angle to engage as Falionet does have the flash available. So this could be a smite contest, but Zech isn't going to let that happen as he's going to dash over the wall. And Falionet is going to drop. Zech goes unstoppable. The Whack is next as the damage comes through. Sheffer goes on a killing spree. And you have to imagine now the Baron is going to be open. Gucci Yin, they are going to focus on this objective.
I really question why they still contest this Baron. You just blew your ultimate on the Ahri, which was one of your crucial members in order to get pickoffs. You lost the Fiora. There's no way you can go in here. I think you did get yourself the tower there, but it's gonna be a Baron for the side of Gucci, and as they just turn on the members who even try to access this river here. You see them standing in this choke, and that's just a fantastic spot for this Rel to start and engage. There's also this Aatrox coming over the wall. There's just no way you can go in here. Your Rumble wasn't. He has no way of accessing this pit. There's just no way. As we're gonna see another 1v1 in the top laners, but this one is
another 1v1 and
one-sided,
dominating against the Ignite Fiora. And we said Zench was a bit of a sleeping giant at the start of this game. He picked himself up 1 kill, and just like that, he goes absolutely crazy. 6 kills on the Aatrox now. Another dragon in the pocket of Gucci Yin and Beast Team Esports. Is there anything they can do here to respond?
They're just gonna get run down again. This might be a summer blown.
Yeah,
he doesn't have any summers.
The Whack is being caught out, and it's by the strong members of Gucci Yin. Sheffer is gonna go on a rampage, and that's Baron buffed minions pushing down the mid lane. With 2 members in the bot lane, as Falionet is gonna be taken down by Obsidian, and you have to imagine this probably ended the game.
I don't think they're gonna quite end it here, but they are at least gonna get a double inhibitor. I don't know if they want to overstay and maybe force an end as well. I think they actually might be able to, as this Fiora might almost get picked up as well. She has to use the riposte here. I think she's just gonna get blown up.
Oh my god, that damage from the culling is going to wipe Johnny Papour off of the map, and there's going to be the inhibitor in the bot lane taken down. Mammon feed Danny 8x8 and the Whack are the only ones left to defend. The engage comes through. Wiggies is just going to land a beautiful magnet storm. The damage is coming out. Sheffer goes dominating, 6 kills on the board for him. He's going to 1v1 Mammon feed in it. Base, and he's going to win now. Double kill for the Lucian. He does drop down. Falionet gets the kill credit for that, but that's just a consolation prize. Obsidian and Zench going to try and land the damage in their base, and Falionet is going to drop 20 kills on the board for Gucci Yin, and that's going to be the series as they close out the 2-0.
A complete controlled game from Gucci Yin. They're gonna smash their opponent here right at the end. There's gonna be a little bit of trading. They're quite low, but they're gonna pick up the Nexus. They just find pick after pick, and they can just use his Baron to get these last Nexus towers. They don't have to back down. They can just rush it down.
They could just rush it down indeed. And one thing I have to say, Gucci Yin, they came into this 3-3, the underperforming roster that, you know, we talked about the matchup here. Beast Team Esports defying expectations. Gucci Yin underperforming on their expectations, and this time around it looks like Gucci Yin have turned the ship around as they finish out the series 2-0. And Algren, I want to throw this one to you because I can't vote because people will complain I'm biased. Who is your MVP of the series?
Well, I mean, why wouldn't I be biased? No, I mean, I think I saw great performances here. I think from almost all players here. I think you're looking at Tim Chef like carrying the bot lane in the first game, but then the second game it looked like it started to be his show again. But then the Aatrox just kind of ran over the Fiora, who's supposed to be countered by the Fiora. So it's looking very good for him. But then quietly on the side, you see Obsidian kind of like just being everywhere and just being relevant all the time. He's up to every play first, and at the same time, you've got some very mechanical, clean engages as well on the side of Wiggies. It's like it's very hard to pick here. If I'm gonna have to take a vote anyways, so I'll just. I think I'm gonna just throw it to. I'm gonna give it to a jungler here. I think playing
Yeah.
Ivan for your AD carry, like you make him the star of the show, but like you deserve a little praise yourself. I'm gonna give it to Obsidian.
Yeah, Obsidian up against Valiant, who is a player that likes to play for himself. He gets the gold into his pocket, and Obsidian perfectly reading that coming into this game. He went on the Ivan, and if you notice, he was just all over the place. Where Valiant wasn't, Obsidian was, and he was being able to facilitate the plays. And I'm not necessarily one to call out jungle diff, but I think this game in particular is talking about who was making the plays and who wasn't. I think Obsidian definitely had the edge over his opponent, but I have to say, Sheffer is going to be my MVP because on the Draven, on the Lucian, you aren't seeing SLE AD carries play early game champions. You aren't seeing them play lane bullies, but Sheffer and Wiggies, they know they are a dominant bot lane force. They know that we can take these snowballing champions and we can accelerate ourselves into a massive lead. And up against they have the read up against an AD carry who likes to play slow, who likes to scale. What better way than to just completely run over him in the laning phase, which is exactly what they did. So my shout out to Sheffer and actually honorable mentions to Wiggies. But yeah, your shout out to Obsidian is definitely viable. I think I would have to say outperformed Valiant in the jungle. I think when you're looking at differences, it probably was the biggest one out of every other role. So I guess in that sense, it was a viable shout. But nonetheless, that will close out the series and our games for today. What a beautiful game set of games we have. And I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Producer Man, we will have the draw happening soon for next week's games. Yeah, and that will be in our Discord server. Yes? Yes, and that will be in our Discord server. So everyone, join the Discord server if you want to find out next week's games. I can't imagine that they won't be anything but exciting. So, Algren, I'll let you close this one out before we head off.
Well, yeah, just like one more comment maybe on my MVP vote. I gotta play mind games here. I need my jungler to play Ivan for me. That's nice to see. But now, yeah, obviously also a great performance there in the bot lane from Team Sheffer because they did manage to, I think, quite dominantly show a very good bot lane performance here as well. But yeah, I think with the draw coming up, I think we'll just see that pop up soon. Anyways,
yeah, I think the draw has actually been finished. So if you go to the announcements channel in SLE, actually, before we go off, Algren, what's your match of the week upcoming?
I kind of have to look at what is
there is one crazy matchup I'm seeing already.
I am looking. Obviously, I'm looking at like the hypest matchups where people are at the top of the standings, and there's kind of two that stand out to me.
There's one matchup that is absolutely insane.
But I think my eyes are on Vitagen versus the Pandas. I think that's gonna be a banger. Like, there's got to be some spice in there.
Yeah,
I don't know if you're more for Yang.
I think I mean I don't want to comment too much on the Gucci games, but guys, seriously, Blazing and Pandas have drawn a Vitagen next week. That is going to be such an incredible matchup. If you want to see the rest of the matchups, that is in the SLE Discord server, so be sure to join that. And Algren, it has been an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much to Pepar for producing this show. Thank you to all the teams that have competed tonight. And guys, have a lovely rest of your Sunday evening because we are finished for this week as we will close out the stream. Thank you very much for watching and good night.
Good night.